This recording of Finding Your Powers is brought to you by the Carter Hughes Knowledge Institute.
Now, as a person who does positive talking, self-improvement talk, right? This is Carter Hughes speaking. And as a person who provides these kind of positive talking sessions, this question hit me the other day. Why is self-improvement talk so important? Right? Me personally, I've committed the bulk of my time to listening to these talks and also creating these talks myself, right? A bunch of us spend the bulk of our time creating these concepts and talks. So it's important to a lot of people, right? That's a great question. Why is self-improvement talk so important? Well, we have to go back in history, right? See where this thing kind of started. Self-improvement talk has been around since the 1930s, right? After the Great Depression, right here in America. For me, I would say George Clason, The Richest Man in Babylon, is one of those kind of earlier self-improvement kind of books. Maybe Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Maybe that came out around the 30s. So 100 years or so, right? 100 years or so ago. And when you evaluate the importance of anything, the place you have to begin is, what does it help me do? Right? For example, the spoon is important because it helps me to eat, right? It's an effective and efficient way to help me eat. The car, right? The automobile is important because it helps me to get to faraway places, right? That's why it's important. So why is self-improvement information important? I believe one of the better illustrations of this is something I think we all know. Sophia and the Insult. Sophia and the Insult is the story about a little girl named Sophia. Every day when Sophia came into science class, she would greet her teacher, she would say hi to her friend Lisa, and then she would sit down and pay attention. Whether it was raining, snowing, sleeting outside, you could guarantee that when Sophia came into class, she would greet the teacher, she would say hi to her friend Lisa, and then she would sit down and pay attention. Sophia was a straight A student, and she was only in the 8th grade, but she was already serious about her schoolwork. So one day, Sophia is walking down the hall to science class, and Tommy asked her for $1 so he can get some candy. Sophia did not have $1, and Tommy got upset when he did not get his $1. So Tommy says to Sophia, it doesn't matter anyway. You're stupid. And Tommy walks away. Sophia walks into science class that day, and she doesn't greet the teacher. She does not say hi to her friend Lisa. She's a little sad about what just happened, so she slowly walks in, and Sophia sinks down into her seat. They had a big test that day, and Sophia ended up getting a C on that test. Now, a C is not a terrible grade, but for Sophia, it was not the best version of herself. And that's the dangerous impact that messages can have on us. Even though Sophia was a straight A student, her mood was significantly affected when someone called her stupid. The messages that we hear affect us. So if you were to hear Les Brown or Jim Rohn or Zig Ziglar or Carter Hughes every morning reminding you that you can become more powerful, you can experience the amazing things that life has to offer, and this is how you can do it. Do you think that would help your mood or hurt your mood? And that's the simple answer to the question of why self-improvement talk is so important. Positive messages help you think positive thoughts. Positive thoughts help you take positive actions. Positive actions lead to a positive life. So listen to more positive messages. There are no guarantees in this life, but positive thinking will help you do everything better than negative thinking would help you do it. And I believe we all can agree on that. Positive messages give you good energy when you believe in yourself. Now, if you don't believe in yourself, then you may not even like positive messages, right? They may make your stomach hurt. They may make your body start to change. You may even doubt the validity of positive messages. But the good news is, you can change your belief system. Your belief system, just like mine, is born out of the imagination. The messages that we hear are what build our belief system. So if you've heard predominantly negative messages consistently as you grew up, then you are more likely to have a negative belief system. The simple answer for me is that I want to have a positive belief system, so I listen to positive messages. Simple, right? There's nothing really complex or magical about it. I want to be confident and I want to be productive, and positive messages help me to accomplish these two specific goals. So the first part of why I believe self-improvement messages are important is because they help me to maintain a positive outlook. The spoon is important because it helps me eat. The car is important because it helps me to get to faraway places. And self-improvement messages are important because they help me maintain a positive outlook. And the second part is, these messages give me ideas. Your ideas are the key to everything. Your unique perspective, your unique viewpoint. That's where the treasure lies in your life. What if you had expectations for your life and you never met those expectations? Would you be satisfied or would you be disappointed? I don't know about you, but I don't like feeling disappointed. I mean, I understand and I accept that disappointment is a normal part of life. But I also understand that I can do things to reduce my disappointments by being clear on my expectations. I used to think that everybody should like me, right? Believe it or not, but that's what I used to think. I used to think that everybody should like me. I used to think that if I did right by a person, then they're going to do right by me. But as I've continued to learn, I've built more realistic expectations. Remember, even a straight A student can be affected by being called stupid. It took me 35 years to realize that disappointment is directly related to my expectations. So I had to take some time to get clear with myself on my expectations. And then I adjusted and set my expectations in a way that now allows me to experience more satisfaction. Back then, I had not really decided what was important and what was not important. There were some things I was giving a lot of weight to, and those things just were not important. My scales were off, right? A simple error that could lead to major disaster if that simple error is done every day, over and over and over again. I was hoping to control things outside of myself. Back then, I didn't understand that that is the beginning of all human problems. A desire to control things that we just cannot control. I did not understand that it was important for me to learn about what to expect from life. I was not looking for information on how to improve myself. The concept, life is like the seasons, really helped me out tremendously. It helped me to understand these 4 themes that we will all experience in life. So now, when certain things happen in life, I'm not upset, nor am I disappointed. I simply look for the next activity to do. A lot of things happen in life. And in my opinion, all of these things, each of these things can fit into one of the 4 seasons of life. So that concept, that framework has been extremely helpful for me. And I totally understand if you do not want to hear these messages and you believe it's all foolishness. And I can talk about that perspective because I'm an expert on that perspective. 34 years of commitment to that perspective. I used to think life is just the way it is and I'm just this little person. I have very little control in such a big world. Regardless of what I do, there's going to be something to come along and mess it up. That was my belief system. Avoid the challenges and stay out of the way. Right? I'm just trying to stay out of the way. And that led me to being 35 years old, earning $35,000 a year, which was below average for that age. And I was pretty much the same person that I am now. I just wasn't looking for the information to help me improve myself. It took me 35 years to figure out that I was the problem. I was the problem. The reason I was making such little money at so far along in my life was me. I was the problem, which also means I was the solution. That's how crazy life is sometimes. These messages are also important because if I didn't change my belief system, then my results would not have changed. I am not confused about why things have changed in my life. It's not me. It's the activities that I have learned how to do and I have committed to doing. The activities that I commit to engaging in on a daily basis. If it were not for these activities, I would still be living with my parents, asking them for money, and thinking everybody who's making good money is evil. That was my belief system. That's why it's so important to pass along these messages, because I know firsthand the improvements that a change in your belief system can bring to your life. And the beauty of these things, and why I think a free platform like YouTube is such a great place for these messages, is because these activities that can change everything about your life are easy to do. These are not difficult activities. The fascinating key is that these activities are also easy not to do. A simple test in your personal discipline. Will you show the commitment to doing these simple things every day? Even when you don't fully understand them, will you still do them every day? Even when you don't fully believe in them, will you still do them every day? It's truly fascinating. They say the only magic in life is believing in yourself. And if you can make that happen, then you can make anything happen. These messages will help you to build your belief in yourself. There's a lot of learned helplessness that is changing people's lives in a negative way. It's like the story of the lion and the tiger, right? Walking through the woods. Lion and tiger chilling, walking through the woods. And they come up on this elephant camp. They see these big elephants, right? About 8 big elephants, tied to the wall with these little strings on one of their ankles. And there's only 2 or 3 trainers there. So the lion and the tiger walk up to one of the trainers and they say, "Hey, how is it that you can keep these huge elephants under control with just that little rope on their ankles?" The trainer says, "Well, that's a good question." He said, "Well, we start putting those ropes on their ankles when they're babies, right? So they grow up and they're trying to break that rope as babies and they can't break it. And by the time they've gotten bigger and big enough to break it, like now, they've already stopped trying because they believe they're not strong enough to break the rope. Even though they obviously are. A simple movement can break that rope, right? But they've conditioned themselves that they can't do it. Learned helplessness. The elephant could easily break that rope. And you are way stronger than you think you are. And these messages can help you tap into that strength. We cannot deny that life is dangerous. We cannot deny that life is difficult. So if you love your people, help them to become stronger. And if you love yourself, then commit to becoming stronger. Positive messages help you think positive thoughts. Positive thoughts help you take positive actions. Positive actions lead to a positive life. That is the math problem. And the simple answer to the question, why are positive messages so important? The spoon is important because it helps me to eat. The car is important because it helps me to get to faraway places. And self-improvement messages are important because they help me maintain a positive outlook and generate ideas that will help my future. There are no guarantees, but positive thinking will help you do everything better than negative thinking will. The belief system at its foundation is simply be happy with yourself and build good relationships. You are God's magnificent creation. And as always, continue to explore the most fascinating thing about your life. You. Have an incredible day.